Speaking at the United Nations, Indian External Affairs S Jaishankar has made it clear that countries sponsoring terrorism should be held accountable. He added that terrorists have been operating with impunity in both India and Afghanistan. WION correspondent Susan Tehrani attended the UNSC press conference in New York. She posed a question to India's foreign minister asking if India will recognize the Taliban, to which Jaishankar answered this.
Thank you, Mr. Minister. This is Susan from WION News India. Will India recognize the Taliban, and what is India's position on the Taliban?
We've had long experiences with terrorism. I specifically mentioned the groups Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Where we go on from now, the immediate issue is repatriation and working with partners, especially the US, as they control the airport. France also took some of our nationals. In terms of longer perspective, we have a relationship with the Afghan people and we will continue with it.
Jaishankar said that terror groups like Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Toiba continue to have encouragement. He also pressed for a focus on threats from the Islamic State. Jaishankar chaired the UNSC meeting. Remember, India is the current president of the Security Council. The Indian External Affairs Minister warned that ISIS has been expanding its footprints in South Asia, making an indirect reference to Pakistan. Jaishankar said that some countries have been undermining counter-terror operations.
In our own immediate neighborhood, ISIL Khorasan has become more energetic and is constantly seeking to expand its footprint. This should be taken seriously. Events unfolding in Afghanistan have naturally enhanced global concerns about their implications for both regional and international security. The heightened activities of the proscribed Haqqani network justifies this growing anxiety. Whether it is in Afghanistan or against India, groups like Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed continue to operate with both impunity and encouragement. In spite of the progress we have made to tighten the legal, security, financing and other frameworks to combat terrorism, terrorists are constantly finding newer ways of motivating, resourcing and executing acts of terror. Unfortunately, there are also some countries who seek to undermine or subvert our collective resolve to fight terrorism. That cannot be allowed to pass.
Highlighting India's achievements in peacekeeping efforts, Jaishankar laid out an 8-point plan to counter terrorism. He said the terror financing watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force, should be strengthened. Jaishankar also called for increased funding to the United Nations Office of Counter-Terrorism.
It is therefore vital that this Council does not take a selective, tactical, or even a complacent view of the problems we face. We must never countenance sanctuaries for terrorists or overlook the raising of their resources. And when we see state hospitality being extended to those with innocents' bloods on their hand, we should never lack the courage to call out this doublespeak. We heard from the briefers of the aggravating impact of the pandemic. What is true of COVID is even more true of terrorism. None of us are safe until all of us are safe.
And our correspondent Susan Tehrani sent us this report from New York. Let's listen in.
Following the high-level meeting on terrorism, India's External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar responded to a number of questions from reporters regarding Afghanistan in particular and reiterated his concern about cross-border terrorism in Afghanistan, mentioning what he said earlier at the meeting that quote-unquote terrorism is terrorism regardless of location or name, pointing to ISIL affiliates now possibly being inside Afghanistan. Also, he said India's top priority right now is the repatriation of Indian nationals, also saying that moving forward, he pointed to India's historic relationship with quote-unquote the Afghan people in the future. Susan Tehrani from New York for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.